Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and just recently I got a chance to visit Nashville, Tennessee, where I not only went on a Lego shopping adventure, but I got to meet up with Jonathan, aka MiniSuperHeroesToday, and tour his Lego collection, and even add some brand new minifigures to my own collection, including some really special Comic-Con exclusives, like a Batman minifigure and a Green Lantern figure, which we'll be taking a look at the end of this video. Now, Jonathan was kind enough to not only be able to let me see his Lego collection, but also give an exclusive full tour for all of you to be able to see what kind of setup he has, his massive Lego city, the Lego superheroes display, his collection of signed Lego artifacts. There's so much cool stuff there. I absolutely love how he has everything laid out, and this is going to be a bit of a unique video because the first half is going to focus on my Lego shopping adventures in Tennessee, and the second half is going to be more of a focus on taking a room tour of MiniSuperHeroesToday's Lego collection, which was so much fun to check out. It was a really funny coincidence because I happened to see that a local used Lego store happened to be doing a meet and greet for him, and I figured, you know what, I have some time, I'm just going to pop by and introduce myself and see what happens. So thank you so much to Jonathan for showing me around Tennessee, for introducing me to some great places for dinner, and of course letting me take a look at some exclusive access to his Lego room. This was so much fun, and let's check it out right now. So I was only really in Nashville for a couple of days, and one out of those 2 days was spent mostly just working, which meant that this had to be a really consolidated trip. For those curious, I stayed at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center, which was one of the most interesting hotels I've ever stayed at. This doesn't really have a ton to do with Lego itself, but I was kind of just blown away by the presentation of the hotel. It felt like some sort of a crazy Disney ride or the line for a Disney ride, because there were of course the standard hotel rooms, but there were also a lot of jungle decor. There were waterfalls, there were boats that were cruising through the hotel itself. It was a really interesting experience, and I actually also just got the Ninjago Dragons Rising sets new from Lego early, right around the time that I got to visit, so I was actually building them while I was there. While I was in work meetings, I was kind of building them on the side and getting a chance to even take some photos of my minifigures along the way. After exploring the hotel, I quickly realized that there was a Lego store located really close by, which was super exciting because I just kind of wanted to check it out. I really didn't know what to expect, and so what I did is I took my rental car to go to the Opry Mills Mall, which was literally only about like a 2-minute drive away from my hotel. Super convenient. And so once I went inside, I was really surprised to see that this Lego store actually had a minifigure factory, which is unlike most Lego stores. In fact, most Lego stores that have minifigure factories are usually at just major locations like, say, Disneyland or stuff like in Bill in Denmark. But no, this Lego store actually had a full-on minifig factory, which was really cool. Got a chance to wander around the store and not only try out the minifig factory itself, but also get a chance to take a look at some of the fun little displays inside some of the windows, some of which showcased mocks from local Lego user groups, which was really interesting. Inside the store was a large baseball player statue, which was pretty cool because, again, this is something that you don't typically see in standard Lego stores. Clearly they just had some more interesting things going on at the Nashville store for whatever reason, and I even got to meet someone who recognized me from Duckbricks, which was super cool. Shout out right here. Now, doing the minifigure factory was a really cool experience. For those who don't know, the minifigure factory is basically a way for you to be able to customize your own Lego minifigures. What was really cool is that the Nashville location actually had custom printed elements, so you could actually have an I Love Tennessee Lego minifigure. There were little stickers for guitar picks and different types of guitars, because obviously Nashville, Tennessee is focused around music, and I just thought that was really cool and really interesting because, again, it's super rare for a custom Lego minifigure factory to even have location-specific stuff. When I went to Disneyland Paris, for instance, they had a minifig factory, but they didn't even have anything specific to that. So Nashville, for whatever reason, had something really special, which was really cool. Now, I was able to design a custom minifigure for myself because every time I get to visit one of these locations with a custom minifigure printer, I usually try to get one that is kind of fully decked out in the location memorabilia for whatever that location is. And I also got one for a friend of mine who really wanted to go to Nashville, so I'm actually going with her pretty soon, so quite excited for that. But I got one for my buddy, and then I was able to move on from the Lego store and start the drive upwards to Bricks and Minifigs. Now, Bricks and Minifigs was actually a pretty sizable sizable drive away. I was located closer to the city, whereas Bricks and Minifigs was, I would say, around a 30 to 45 minute drive out, although that may have been just because of traffic. Going inside Bricks and Minifigs, I noticed that Jonathan, Mini Superheroes Today, was already doing a full-on meet and greet inside the store itself, which was super cool to see that event happening. Before I got to introduce myself though, I got a chance to explore the store itself and just be able to take a look at some of the most interesting items they had for sale. I think some of the most striking elements to me were some of these new and sealed LEGO Ninjago sets from 2011 and 2012 respectively. You've got Zane's Ice Dragon and the Serpentine Rattlecopter, both sets that obviously I already owned, but I just thought it was super cool and kind of a nostalgic blast from the past to actually see these fully sealed in the box. Of course, the store itself had a pretty interesting mix of both old sets and new, a ton of new sets, but also a ton of somewhat discontinued sets. Nothing super old that was sealed, but still an interesting selection of, again, old and new, with mostly new stuff being the more modern themes, and then they had just a scattering of older sets here and there. It was really interesting to see the store layout because, again, each Bricks and Minifigs store does things a little bit differently. There's always something a little more unique happening for every single store because, again, they are just franchises, so you definitely have a different experience for every single one. But it was cool just being able to go around the store and be able to see different types of sets. And what was really cool is that they even had their own little city setup with custom sidewalks built into the modular buildings, which I kind of now want to do in my own city. Here you can see a selection of different polybags. I made sure to get that McDonald's polybag for $8 because it was a really interesting one to get, just a vintage 1998 LEGO McDonald's polybag. Not something you see every day, so I definitely picked that up, although for the most part the prices were a little bit high for me aside from a few items that you're about to see when we get to our haul. Now, here were some of the rarest items they had for sale, from Smooth Hair Leia to Cloud City Boba Fett to Jango Fett. They had a lot of really rare minifigures and sets just all the way up at the front, as well as a good selection of used sets, which were really cool. Some of them were pretty nicely priced. However, unfortunately, I already did own pretty much everything on these shelves. I didn't really need to get anything in particular because I already owned all these sets, but it was cool being able to see some of the stuff like the original Republic gunship from 2002. Pretty high price, but it did come with all the figures, as well as an assortment of the CCBS Star Wars buildable figures, which were actually really well priced at $10 a piece, but again, already owned those, so I didn't really need to get anything in particular. Still, it was really cool just wandering around this Bricks and Minifigs location. I love used LEGO stores, and I had never been to this particular one, and it was cool seeing bits and pieces of random vintage sets like this vintage LEGO Technic competition set. Just in the bulk bin there, you'd see an Aqua Zone piece or Aqua Raiders back there from the original Aqua Raiders back in the day. Just all sorts of interesting stuff, old and new, like the Ninjago Prime Empire printed element for Lloyd Speeder. Just weird stuff you could just randomly find in the bulk bin that you won't typically find in other bulk bins. Now, as I got a chance to explore the store, there were more and more custom and unique builds that were pretty specific to Nashville, like the sports arena here, as well as even a few custom modular buildings in their city. Now, Bricks and Minifigs Nashville obviously was hosting a big event to meet Jonathan, aka Mini Superheroes Today, and while he was there, he brought a lot of really rare items to showcase to allow people to check out, including some of his rare Comic-Con minifigures, New York Toy Fair minifigures, original LEGO die-cast cars. He even brought his Mr. Gold, so this was super interesting to see, especially because at this point, I didn't actually own a lot of these items. I pretty much only owned that one Comic-Con minifigure of the collector, so that was super cool. Of course, I had to rush back to my hotel for a group dinner, so got a chance to experience the hotel lights, but after that, the next day, I quickly made plans. After introducing myself to Mini Superheroes Today, we decided to go ahead and check out his own collection. So first of all, thank you so much to Jonathan for being so welcoming and allowing me to tour your LEGO collection and showcase this on Duck Bricks for all of you to see. And so, right after dinner, I went to bed, and the next day, I made sure to quickly go on over to his house, and let's go ahead and check out that full tour right now. Alright, so I'm here with Jonathan, aka Mini Superheroes Today. This is so cool because you've given me the opportunity to tour your LEGO collection. So thank you so much, man, for doing this.
My pleasure. You're the first person ever to get a video tour of my house. I've done like tours on the channel and things like that, but it's going to be cool to get a different perspective and see what you gravitate towards. So let's get to it. Let's start exploring. All right, so for those that haven't met me, I'm Jonathan, Mini Superheroes Today. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been in the LEGO content creation game for about 8 years now, but I've been collecting pretty much my whole life, Mine are Dark Age, we all had it, but basically my collection is stuff that I've had since I was a kid, stuff that I got again, stuff that I always wanted as a kid, and of course new stuff that's coming out now. So this is my complete Indiana Jones collection. Every single Lego Indiana Jones set ever made is right here, and it's my favorite theme of all time. We've got some really cool rare pieces like these Legoland bricks that you can flip around and see the Legoland logo on. Got the original Temple Escape here, one of my all-time favorite sets. Just so cool. The old Temple of Doom back there. We've got a mock here that I built of the map room, so you could put the Staff of Ra there and it shines
that's
through.
Nice.
Yeah, so the original Well of Souls, the new one, magnets. This is a very cool piece from the Lego store in England. A friend sent me this. This was a display piece back in 2008, so that's a very cool piece.
Nice.
Probably will never see another one of those.
Oh, yeah. So what's the story behind this? This I know is like the Comic-Con-like thing, right?
Kind of, sort of. So this is a mock I built of a set called the Indiana Jones Han Solo Transformation Chamber.
Nice.
And there were 100 of these that were given away at Toy Fair, I believe in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. So I just kind of printed off these logos. My friend Will helped me make those. Somebody makes stickers online that you can just get. But yeah, I just built a mock of it because the actual one sold on eBay, or at least popped up on eBay for like $25,000 at one point. And it's like, you know what? A Bricklink order for like $12. That sounds a little better to me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the complete Indiana Jones collection. Every set ever. My favorite theme of all time. We've even got the Comic-Con box back there.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, here, we'll take it out. We'll take a look at it. So the Comic-Con box is here. The set is down there, actually. But you can see, yeah, there's the set right back there. Looking so good. Then the box itself, you can see that they actually hand wrote the number out of 500 that were made. And the box is actually the only thing exclusive in the set because you got the poly bag inside, and then just all these other random pieces and sticker sheets and things like that. But it's still very, very cool. And I remember seeing this on Brickset, I believe in 2008, and thinking, man, I really wish that I could have this. And then, of course, I grew up and finally was able to get one. So
that is so
your
cool.
Dreams, everybody.
There you go.
Happen. So yeah.
Wow. And this is all the Indiana Jones sets they've ever done. You even got like the case, like that is
got a Nintendo DS case with actual bricks. They're underneath that paper, you can see, but yeah, that's really cool. This is a Nintendo DS travel case, which you could take this like little string off. It's embossed with Indiana Jones in the leather there. Then you could open it up, and there was a spot to put your DS in there, some extra games. Definitely super cool, and also shows that I'm a super fan. So.
Yeah, I mean, you have every piece of Lego Indiana Jones paraphernalia that I think they have ever made, which is absolutely crazy.
Pretty close to it.
And I love the way you've organized these sets as well, like even the non-indie stuff where you clearly have like memories behind these, I'm guessing, or these are maybe memorable sets for you, because I like how you've curated. It feels like a very curated collection here, and everything has its own space.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's really astute for you to point out. But yeah, I really like to display sets that have meaning to me. Like, of course, I'm a musician, so having the guitar out, it makes a lot of sense. I love Jurassic Park, having this here. The original Jango Fett Slave 1 from 2002. Beautiful, beautiful set. Of course, we've got this very cool wooden block. This is from the 1930s. Before Lego was making bricks, they were making wooden toys, and this is what one of those were. Of course, we've got Thor's hammer here from my video where I smashed all the food. And I don't know if I've ever showed this on a video, but smashing all that food actually like damaged the pieces. So this is a cool memory too, so I like to have it on display. Back to the Future DeLorean, Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock's Hideout. Just so much cool stuff. The original UCS Batmobile down there. Super, super cool stuff. So, yeah, I'm very grateful to have the collection that I do, and I know we're just getting started with this video, but it's very, very cool to get to show it to you guys too.
Well, thank you so much for being willing to do this. I think my favorite thing in the collection is that pillow there. I need to get a Duck Bricks one of those.
There you go. There you go. Available online. You can get your very own Mini Superheroes Today pillow.
Oh, there you go. There's the plug.
So this is one of my favorite pieces because it's something I never thought I would own, but luckily one kind of fell into my lap last year. This is the Lego Life on Mars alien that flew aboard the International Space Station in April and May of 2001. Now, there's 300 of these employees that went to the space station, and you could see some cool pictures of Lego in space and everything. And these are incredibly, incredibly rare. In fact, I'll take it off the wall so you can see the back is just not special at all. But it hangs proudly here on the wall in my collection, and I always wanted something that had been in space, and now I've got it, and it's Lego, so it's like all my favorite things combined.
That is so cool. I've been trying to hunt down one of these for the longest time, and it is so cool to actually see this in person. This is one of the coolest pieces, I think, in any Lego collection. Like, that is seriously so cool, man.
Well, if I ever find a second one, I'll send it your way.
All right.
All right, well, this is unprecedented access because I've never really done a tour quite like this on somebody else's channel. So I'm really excited to see what you gravitate toward, and we'll go from there. So I'll follow your lead and answer any questions you have.
Okay, well, this is really cool. The first thing I'm seeing there is, like, that's a Lego shark, right? Like, that is...
It is.
That is an actual Lego.
So this is a plushie that you could win at Legoland Beeland, and I love that they put the stitching on him for, like, the bricks as if it were a real piece. It's got official Lego tag on there, and yeah, you could win this as, like, a prize at Legoland in Denmark. You could also win the dolphin and parrot pieces.
That is so cool.
Well. Yeah.
Wow, you have so many crazy items here. I mean, just look at the amount of interesting things that you have on the shelves, like Quattro figure, like Primo or whatever. Yeah, like...
Both of those are so wild. Yeah. This guy's even got my haircut. Both of them kind of
There you go.
Here's a cool one. Hiding way back there. This is the McDonald's set.
Ooh.
Sealed.
Sealed?
From, what, 1999, yeah.
That is so cool.
And look how weird the back of the box is. It's just a Lego Club membership sign up. So wild. Had to have it. I'm loving it.
You are loving it. And so am I. And of course you have the Raimi Spider-Man stuff here. Ooh, I love the custom No Way Home setup you've got with the Statue of Liberty there.
Yeah, that's a mock I built, and this is every Raimi Spider-Man set. Some of the boxes are downstairs, which we'll see a little bit later, but yeah, this is every Tobey Maguire Spider-Man set ever made. All of them.
Wow. This is so cool. And you keep... So I'm curious about your boxes, because personally, I don't keep a lot of boxes, but I know that there are some people who do. So what are your criteria for keeping these boxes?
Yeah, I have a couple different criteria. So if it's older than 2008, I generally keep it because I just can't bring myself to throw it away. Anything from like 2012 to 2015 will depend if I already have that box or not. And then anything new, I do kind of keep the boxes on those because, well, I already have it. It's going to be here. A lot of times when I am done with a set, reviewing it or displaying it, I deconstruct it and put it back in the box. So the boxes actually become a little bit handy at a certain point. But, you know, I can't keep them all, but it's hard for me to throw away anything old. That kind of makes me sound like a hoarder a little bit, but that's certainly not where I'm going with it. It's just like, come on. How can I bring myself to throw away this?
Yeah.
It's just like, there's no way.
I get it.
No way. But, yeah, really, really cool stuff. And, yeah, I'm just so thrilled to be able to show this to you.
Why, thank you so much. I'm seeing, I mean, a lot of the items here, like, I don't even have in my collection, which is so crazy. Like, the Target store displays there, like, that's really cool. Like, how you actually have the minifigure store displays from that era of superheroes.
The figures are glued in there, so you can't take them apart and play with them or anything. But this is the Infinity War one, so there's all the Avengers, for the most part, from Infinity War.
Yeah.
No Vision or anything like that. But this one I really, really like because it's from 2012. So you've got pretty much all the first wave of Marvel and DC, and it's exceptionally rare to find anything, not just Lego, anything that has DC and Marvel in the same product. Yeah. So it's very cool that we've got this, and I have one more in the collection too. There's actually a couple more, but it's cool to have two, so, you know.
Like another copy of this?
Not another copy of this, but another display that has DC and Marvel in it.
Okay,
so
well, I'm looking forward to seeing that, yeah. Okay, wow, and you've got like the Comic-Con box up here for Captain Marvel. That's very cool.
This one's very cool because I didn't realize until after I bought it, but it's one of the sample copies. And we don't know exactly how many sample copies there are, but the sample copies were given to people that worked at the Comic-Con that this came out for, or to Lego employees. So generally, these are limited to about 1,500, and then there's an unknown amount of extra samples, but the samples are significantly more rare, so it is very cool to have one. Mine, of course, is open because I wanted to review it and everything.
Of course,
but This is one of the few Lego Superheroes Comic-Con sets that actually has an exclusive minifigure with the Maria Rambeau, because the head only appeared on that figure. So
that's
it's
right.
an exclusive figure, although the body is from Star Wars and all that, but definitely a cool piece, and I love it.
And that's a really weird minifigure too, because one of the expressions of the head I think they used for the Monica Rambeau figure in the collectible minifigs, but then the other side of the head is still exclusive, which is just a crazy thing that they did. It's like, that is exclusive. Yeah. Okay, oh nice. And we've got like a Star Wars section here, Batman stuff. Oh, and even a classic town area. And this is like a lot of classic stuff in here.
Yeah, we've got a lot of really, really cool old stuff back there. Some castle. I always like this one a lot. I don't know what it is about the bike shop. It's just so cool.
Nice.
I just love that one. I love the racetrack here, hence why I have it set up.
Yeah.
Got the forest men back there. Got some castle down
And
here.
you've got El Dorado Fortress.
Yeah.
That is, I can't wait for the remake of that one coming out later. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's just some cool classic stuff. A friend of mine worked at a store down here called The Great Escape, and when they got stuff in, he would let me know that, hey, we got some Lego stuff in, so I would be able to get over there and check it out right as they were putting it out, and that's how I got a lot of these ones.
Awesome.
All right, so this is kind of my rare stuff shelf. Just some of my favorite things. A fan made a custom Funko Pop of me a couple of years ago. That was very cool.
That's crazy.
We've got 3 Comic-Con exclusive sets here. Rocket Raccoon's Warbird from 2015. We've got the Ultron Throne from 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what year that is, but it's still very cool.
Yeah.
These are very, very rare die-cast cars that are actually Lego. If we look underneath, you've got the Lego logo there. We've also got the Lego logo right here. So these were made as the bricks were being phased into the Lego product line, and these cars could like drive around the little brick city that you were building.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the bricks got so popular that they got rid of these. This is a very, very cool piece. This was awarded to the game designers for the Avengers game, and most Traveler's Tales games got bricks like this. And there's usually 2 or 3 different characters that you could get. In this case, of course, we've got Captain America from the Avengers game in 2016, so definitely a cool piece. This guy right here is a 3D printed duck that was available at Lego House. So this is an official Lego piece. And as you roll it, you can see that the mouth moves with the wheels. There's like a really cool system underneath that has it move. So that's technically a Lego piece, and a minifigure can hold on to that front part, which is quite cool. Cloud City Boba Fett, one of the most desirable Lego Star Wars figures ever. Super grateful to have him. Got Mr. Gold here, the official Mr. Gold from Series 10. Here, we'll take him out of the case so you can see him nice up and close like that.
Very nice. Oh, I like how you don't even have him holding the staff. Like, it's just kind of set to the side. Yeah.
I don't want to put any stress on the figure's arms. Truth be told, if we come down one shelf here, you can see the Iron Man and Captain America from Toy Fair 2011.
Those are so cool.
And you'll see that I don't have their torsos pressed the whole way down, because actually having the torso pressed the whole way down can cause stress on the sides of the figures. And these are irreplaceable, as is Mr. Gold, so I probably should have him displayed this way with the torsos raised up.
Sure.
But, Mr. Gold looks better displayed that way. And you only live life once, so I guess I'm trying to rationalize to myself why I haven't done that. But, but lots of cool pieces here, some misprinted pieces. Probably the most notable is this Chewbacca. You can see his bandolier is printed the wrong way, and the nose is printed on the back of the head, which is quite cool. So
that is funny.
Definitely a favorite piece of mine. And then everything else here are just sets that I really enjoy having on display, stuff that I really like either for aesthetic or design reasons or nostalgia, or sometimes many of those things combined up at once. Now, one thing I do want to point out here, we're going to turn the lights off. My friend Colin suggested that I do this with the Batwing. So I got a big piece of cardboard and I covered it in glow-in-the-dark tape, and hopefully it's charged up enough.
Yo! That is sick.
The bat signal on the wall, or the moon behind it, however way you'd want to look at it, but that is quite cool, and thanks to Colin for suggesting that.
That is an ingenious idea. I love how you have that set up.
Super, super cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is my Comic-Con exclusive section. Of course, if you don't know what a Comic-Con exclusive is, LEGO will do very limited runs of figures. In this case, there were about 1,500 of these made, and you could only get them if you attended Comic-Con of those years, and then you had to get lucky enough to get a raffle ticket to actually be entered to win. So this raffle ticket here goes with the Spider-Woman here, which is probably my rarest Comic-Con figure I have, because this one was limited to 325 or 350, something like that.
That's crazy.
So super, super rare. Definitely a very cool piece. And if I flip it around, you can see my little post-it note on there of how much I paid for it, which will be a secret only to me. But yeah, so that's super, super cool. So we've got all the Marvel ones up here, many DC ones down here, some of the original Comic-Con figures when they first came out in 2012, Shazam and Bizarro from DC, as well as Black Suit Spider-Man and Jean Grey from Marvel.
Nice.
And then we have some of the very, very first ones on the wall right here. These were kind of announcing that DC sets were coming, and of course these were from January of 2012. Actually, I think they were from July 2011, now that I see it on there, announcing the sets in January 2012. Of course, we have Christian Bale's Dark Knight Batman and Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. So those are very, very cool. Got the Chrome Stormtrooper sealed in his poly bag.
Nice.
White Boba Fett sealed in his poly bag. And then I have some cool sets up here just displayed for nostalgic reasons, or in some cases because they're autographed.
Ooh.
I got to meet Sam Raimi just a couple weeks ago. The
I
director
saw
of the
that.
Spider-Man
Dude,
movie.
that's so cool.
Yeah, so he signed my Spider-Man's Train Rescue set. If we move up, Ian McDiarmid, the actor that played Emperor Palpatine, signed my Final Duel. And Anthony Daniels, that played C-3PO, signed my Jabba's Message set. So that's very cool. And these two sets, Jedi Duel and Tusken Raider Encounter, I bought those off of my friend Daniel Logan, who played young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones. So it's pretty cool that he owned those. I guess it's worth shouting out.
That's
And,
crazy.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Wow, I mean, this is an insane wall. I mean, even just alone without the signatures, these are some of the rarest sets to see with the boxes, but then you've got the signatures. You even have, like, some of the Comic-Con brickheads I can see here. Like, these ones are really special as well. And
yeah, this is my only Comic-Con brickhead set for now. Hopefully
For
I get
now,
them all
yeah.
at some point. Life is long, folks. But yeah, we've got Iron Man and Captain America from 2016. Of course, it was kind of like a loose tie-in with Civil War.
Yeah.
2016, big year for these two heroes. And very, very cool to have in the collection now.
okay, well, thanks for showing me this. And I see behind you have a crazy minifigure wall as well. Like, this is so cool.
So it's designed in a way that makes sense to my mind. So we've got like all the Batman figures grouped together, all the DCEU grouped together, 66 Batman, Marvel going down the wall, and these are mounted to the wall with command strips. And then they're each, brought together by bricks that run across to hold everything together. So yeah, it's super, super cool. CMF's got a little bit of everything going on, and technically, I have every single Marvel figure except for the Andrew Garfield Comic-Con Spider-Man, and I have all the DC figures except for maybe about 20, like some random Lego Batman movie figures that I'm missing, but like I said with these, life is long, so the hunt is on and gotta find them all.
Oh, yeah. Are you currently looking for the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man figure?
Oh, I'm always on the hunt.
Okay, well, folks in the comments, if you have one to sell, let us know.
Yes,
Or
please.
let him know.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
We're getting a little bidding war.
Yeah. Well, let me know first, and then we'll tell him. Later.
Okay, well, this
Yeah.
is your video, so you should get eminent domain.
Okay, so what is the story behind this? Because I see there's a Duck Bricks logo on it, but I did not write that.
Yes, it's a forgery. So a couple weeks back, I was fortunate enough to get to go to the 2K Drive event announcing the new Lego game, and you sent Jake, your Duck Bricks
I
partner,
sure did.
there, but that means you didn't get to sign it. So everybody that went to the event, Emma Saris, Holly, lots of different people were there and got to sign this, but now I got to get you to sign it. So
Okay, I'll do it right now.
there we go.
All right, we'll get a more authentic duck. Put him in the corner here. There we go.
Honestly, Jake did a pretty good job.
He did. You know,
Yeah, he
it's
did pretty
a
good.
very good duck for never having drawn it ever before.
He actually looked up the duck before signing everybody's sets. Yeah, I hate to rat him out, but he did. All right, come on into the Lego City. This is my lifelong dream come true to have a city set up. And of course, we've got lots of stuff that isn't the Lego City. Got my Tobey Maguire Spider-Man collection. There's a lot to go through here, and I've got a video on my channel. Like, if you're super interested in that, you can check that out. But remember upstairs I said I had another store display that is both DC and Marvel. This time we actually have sets in there. And there's my other Raimi Spider-Man sets. You know, some of them sealed, boxed. We saw more upstairs. Behind me here, we've got lots of cool display stuff. Of course, so many great classic Star Wars sets through here. Got the big spaceship. Got a couple employee gift sets.
Ooh, nice.
This guy here is just...
the ultimate space battle. Yeah, nice.
I'm very grateful to have gotten this last year at Brick Fair, Virginia. Love that set. But yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff littered throughout here. Cool store display with Emmett and yours truly.
Ha! There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got all kinds of cool stuff here. Check out the box on this.
Yo! Oh my goodness. This is so cool. Wow. Of course, that's like, I don't keep things sealed, but I would keep that sealed, you know?
That's kind of where my head is.
Yeah.
Got lots of Batman sets here with the boxes, like the original Batcave here. Absolutely gorgeous. So cool. Love seeing all that stuff boxed and ready to go. But yeah, just some sets I really like having on display, and then shifting the focus back over to the Lego City. I've got an amusement park I'm working on over here. So we've got the big Ferris wheel, we've got the Disney train, the roller coaster. I do have the haunted house, like the ride, but I don't have that in the city yet. Got some store displays down here on the floor. You'll see the lights kind of moving on and off as we move around.
Oh, wow.
Got Indiana Jones from 2008 with
of course.
Temple Escape. My all-time favorite set until the Ghostbusters Firehouse. Then it was replaced by the Daily Bugle. Then it was replaced by the new Temple of the Golden Idol that is a remake of this set. So it's been a long road. But this is maybe my favorite thing in my collection, the Indiana Jones store display. The reason being is, this isn't the one I saw as a kid, but I remember it so well, turning the aisle at Target and seeing this on the store shelf and being like, oh my gosh, Lego's making Indiana Jones sets. This display is how I found out. And since Indiana Jones is my favorite theme, it's very cool to have this when I have a specific memory of this display. It's just so cool. We've got a Star Wars Old Republic display.
Dude, this is so cool. I love that. Oh my goodness.
I just got this last week.
Really?
You have the minifigs in there. Now they're glued in place, so even if you took this apart, like, you know, they're kind of ruined anyway.
Yeah.
But there is a Darth Malgus in there, which is quite cool. And of course, I love the Disney Cars one. The thing I really like about this, hey, the light finally turned on, is that there's actually a play feature in the display that like lowers and raises Mac's roof. I think about how much work it took just to make that happen. So that's pretty cool. And this one actually weighs the most of all of them, which is like so weird because it's like Disney Cars. They shouldn't weigh that much, but they do.
Even more than the Star Wars one.
The Star Wars one is pretty heavy, but I do think that this one weighs just a little bit more.
That's crazy.
This takes 24 D-size batteries. So it's a monster. And then a fan of mine, I bought this off of him, but he got this from his local Walmart. I guess he got some of the last CMF Marvel figures, and they were asking the toy manager what they were going to do with this, and I guess they were just going to throw it away. So they gave it to a fan and his dad, and he reached out and was like, hey, I know you really like Marvel display stuff, so I ended up buying it off of him.
Nice.
And yeah, he was super happy, and he actually wrote me a note with it here.
Oh, that's really nice.
So, yeah, thank you to Daniel. I never forgot it, and you are on permanent display with your note in my collection now.
That is really sweet. That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, and we have a full city going on here. I can see all sorts of different scenes already just going through this city. I mean, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, everything here has been a lifetime of collecting. I have almost every single modular. Now, the trick is I do have the Green Grocer, and I do have the Parisian restaurant. However, both of those are at my parents' house in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So figuring out how to get those from Pennsylvania down to Tennessee is a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
So someday they'll get here, but until then, I'm just enjoying the sets that I do have here.
Sure.
And, yeah, I mean, we've got so many cool ones. The Grand Emporium, the Town Hall.
Yeah.
We've got the very first modular here, the Grand Hotel. There's like nothing on the inside, which is super funny. But of course, we've got our Marvel ones here.
Oh, yeah.
The Sanctum, the Daily Bugle. Probably getting another one before too long.
Oh, are you gonna use it to make it taller, or just what are you gonna do with it?
Oh well, I was referring to the fact that we're probably gonna get another Marvel one, but I would love to get another Daily Bugle and make it huge. Although, if I made the Daily Bugle taller, it would feel weird for the Bugle to be taller than Avengers Tower, which is on the south side of town over there.
That's true. Wow, that is a really cool custom build of that. What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so just like the display on the floor over there, when I get things from fans of the channel or fans of what I do, I like to kind of honor them and keep them together as much as possible. So a fan of mine sold me this whole part here. So from this down, he custom built this Avengers Tower. His name's Nash. That built it. And I just thought that was so cool that he shipped it to me like bagged in parts so that I was able to rebuild it the way that he had it built. So
that's cool.
He was moving and wasn't able to take it with him. And so among other stuff I got from him, that was in there. And now it gets to live on permanent display here rather than have just been dismantled and never to be enjoyed again.
Yeah.
Now it's here in the city. I get to enjoy it when I build down here. Now you get to enjoy it in this video. So yeah, you can see I've got a little empty plot here. It's kind of like a real city. The Jazz Club is going to go here.
Nice.
Or maybe the hotel, like the most recent hotel.
Oh, that's a really good set.
I'm not sure which one I want to put there yet, but I'll figure it out. So the funny thing with this city is it's a lot like a real city, is every time I run out of space for buildings, I just take away some greenery in the park, just like a real city.
Oh, yeah.
As sad as that is to say, but I love the way the park looks. You know, it's a little bit sparse. There's not too much going on. There's just enough. You can see there are a couple couples on dates. There's a hiker. There's people walking dogs. There's a guy fishing. I just really like to have my city feel lived in and feel like there's a lot of different things going on. But if you look around the city, you'll see that there's parts laying out and, you know, stuff isn't quite done. And for a long time, I actually felt like, this might sound a little silly, but a little bit subconscious about, self-conscious is the word I'm looking for. Self-conscious about sharing the city because I'm like, well, it's not done yet. I want to wait till it's done.
I feel the same thing.
Yeah, I came to realize a couple months ago that really the beauty is documenting it coming to life. So I don't make enough content in the city. I'd really like to do it more. And it's something I really hope to do more before the year's out. But, you know, I just love building down here. Sometimes I just put my phone on airplane mode and disappear for a few hours and use this as kind of some cathartic building, which sadly I don't get to do as much of as I would like. So when I do get to do it down here, I enjoy it. And it's been cool to just kind of let go of the expectation that everything has to be perfect before sharing it, because that's no way to live. So,
well, hey, I'll probably have to take that advice because, I mean, this city looks so nice. I just love how you're saying, like, there's all sorts of different stories going on in each and everything. Like, you can look even behind some of the buildings, like, there's some stuff going on. Like, every single corner is packed full of detail. This is just so cool, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. The 8-year-old version of me would never believe that I get to have this as an adult, but that's what we work hard for, is to make those kind of dreams come true. So
that's the idea.
And I'm glad I get to share it with you guys today.
Okay, well, thanks for doing this.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Well, all good things must come to a close, so we are coming to the end of the tour. Please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times, though. Just want to highlight a couple final really cool things that I really enjoy in the collection. So I bought 2 of the Dunder Mifflin office sets, and I built the official one, and then I used all the extra pieces to finish the office and build the accounting department, Creed and Meredith's desks, so on and so forth. Nice. I love the office, and having the full thing here is super cool. There's a video on my channel. Can you tell I'm getting tired? There's a video on my channel going over the whole thing, so, you know, if you want to watch that,
go check that out.
Of course, Rivendell is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love this build. It's so amazing. It was so fun to build, and it's even fun just to look at.
Yeah.
Got some UCS Star Wars here, the gunship, the Y-wing, got the Sydney Opera House up top, and one cool little Easter egg is I love that Superman is flying around the globe. I think that's
really
a cool
nice.
little Easter egg. And yeah, that's going to bring us to the end of the tour. So I'm super grateful to get to do this here on Duck Bricks, make a little guest appearance. And yeah, this is amazing. I think when I come and visit you,
yes,
maybe we'll do the same thing in your room and do
reverse.
the map and mirrors.
Oh yeah, we got it.
This is so much fun. Thanks for having me on the channel, and be good to each other out there.
Thanks so much, man. It's been such a pleasure meeting you.
You got it. Thanks, man.
Well, thank you so much to Jonathan for that amazing tour of his LEGO collection for pretty much the first time. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. But the fun was not over yet, because from there, Jonathan got a chance to showcase one of his favorite used LEGO hunting grounds, Minifigs, which is a thrift store that happens to sell a lot of random toys and, of course, LEGO minifigures and unique LEGO items that are fully individually bagged. You never really know what you're going to expect when you see these, but each of the minifigures was only around $5 to $8, so it was actually really cool to see this. They also had a selection of LEGO sets that were priced at pretty good prices, including some random GWPs, which were really interesting to see being sold secondhand. There was a section dedicated to vintage road plates, just all sorts of random stuff. This was pretty much just a generic thrift store, and he was telling me that he literally was there the day before and found a ton of the original Jurassic World sets for a really incredible price. I think it was only like 20 or 30 bucks for like the largest Indominus Rex breakout, so some insane prices here, and of course bins and bins of bulk as well. After exploring McKay's and getting a couple of things, which I'll showcase on haul, Jonathan introduced me to one of his favorite restaurants for the vibes, which was this restaurant here by the bay on the water, which was super nice. I had a great full plate full of seafood related items, which was super fun, and it was really cool being able to share a meal and talk about life in general and not just LEGO. Once it started getting dark, the restaurant has just perfect vibes, as you can see here. The sunset on the water looked really cool, and from there, Jonathan actually gave me a tour of the main downtown city area of Nashville, which is going to be super helpful because I'll be going in a couple of weeks, which is going to be a ton of fun to be able to actually fully explore the city, which I did not get to do while I was here because, again, I really just had a couple of days, and most of those were work days. But as we drove down the streets, he was pointing out all sorts of different honky-tonks and bars and all sorts of different types of things that you can see here, food experiences, and this was, I believe, a Thursday night at 8 p.m., and it was crazy busy, which is pretty unprecedented. I mean, I've been out in New York and busy nights and whatnot, but this was about as busy as like New York on a Friday night at 11. But it was 8 p.m. on a Thursday, so absolutely crazy experience. It was super cool just being able to drive through and see so many people out and about and hear the live music just everywhere around you. This was my very first time in Nashville, so it was really special to be able to experience this even just from looking out of a car window and seeing all the sights to be seen. But of course, all good things must come to an end, and with that, I'd summed up my trip in Nashville, Tennessee. A fun trip just to be able to experience the city as well as to meet a new friend and go LEGO shopping, so thank you again to Jonathan for showing me around. Can't wait to see you again when I visit with my other friend later on in this summer. And now I think it's time for the haul, because I got a ton of LEGO sets from Bricks and Minifigs. I also got a ton of LEGO sets purchased directly from Jonathan, as well as a few really special items. So let's get into those right now. Okay, so before me we have the entire haul from Bricks and Minifigs in Nashville, Tennessee, plus a couple of sets that I also got from Jonathan, aka MiniSuperHeroesToday, with more of the special items I got from him coming later on, because those were actually shipped to me separately. Now, there's a lot of items here, a lot of small items, but quite a lot in terms of smaller polybags and little boxes that LEGO released between the years of, I would say, 1997 to 2001. There's just a lot of really good vintage stuff here, and I got super lucky because initially when I was looking around Bricks and Minifigs, I didn't really see much stuff I didn't already own. I did manage to get a Time Twister's Time Train, which is something I didn't own yet, but one thing that I really have been wanting for a long time. But otherwise, I didn't really see anything I didn't already own until they whipped out a bin full of pretty recent acquisitions of really good quality small sets from this particular era of LEGO, complete with their instruction manuals in really good quality. All the minifigures were there, all the accessories, they even had spare pieces, and that was kind of like hitting the jackpot because every single one of these was priced between $5 to $15, which meant I was basically paying close to retail price for a lot of them. I mean, especially some of the $5 ones like Life on Mars and stuff like that. that's the price of a standard poly bag today, so I feel like I could have just gone to the store and gotten a bunch of vintage poly bags, except these are really rare, and I was super happy with being able to actually get a ton of these to add to my collection, because while I own most of the mainline sets from the waves like Life on Mars, I already owned all the sets and I even did a video retrospective on all of those. I didn't own all these individual little poly bags until now, and it's stuff like that that really allowed me to fully complete my collection of just weird and eclectic LEGO items. So I think it makes sense to kind of zoom in here and just kind of do a brief overview of each and every one of the items. I'm just going to kind of call out each one by one so we can really just be able to take advantage of all of these different specialized new LEGO sets that I got. This is from LEGO Adventures. It is Johnny Thunder on a little bit of a plane here. Super simple poly bag, but it comes with that classic Johnny Thunder minifigure, set number 5911, which you can see right there. I think one of my favorite parts of getting this haul was actually being able to just look through the style of instructions back in the day, which is just a little bit different than what you would see nowadays. Obviously, you've got some advertisements for the Dino Island sets, which I actually do already own, except for this little poly bag, so that was really nice. Moving onwards, also from Adventurers, we have Johnny Thunder and a little bit of a cart with a baby T-Rex. The baby T-Rex mold was introduced for Adventurers Dino Island back in the day. It's really interesting to see two different set numbers for this poly bag. Super simple, just that Johnny Thunder minifig, black binoculars, which are actually pretty rare, and of course that adorable baby T-Rex character. But just in general, I just really like how this is set up, and it is a good model to have overall. Moving on from that, we have yet another Adventurers set. This is yet again from Dino Island, introducing a dark orange pteranodon or pterodactyl, which was kind of that classic form of dinosaur back in the day. A bit of a swamp boat, so this kind of feels like something we might get from Jurassic Park or World nowadays. You've got the instructions here, and what was really cool was that this also had a bit of a comic included, so you can see that this actually does have a bit of a story being told even for just the single poly bag, as well as ideas to combine this poly bag with some of the other poly bags from the wave, so you could actually combine it with the car and the plane and some other stuff. So I thought that was super cool how they actually had a comic included in the set itself. This may have well just been almost fully sealed, because I mean it was in really good condition. You've got instructions and everything, and interestingly enough, they had these little like barcodes stapled onto the instructions cut out from the boxes themselves, so whoever traded these into LEGO bricks and minifigs really were able to actually preserve a lot of the original details of these sets. Let's see, anything else from Adventurers? I think that's about it. Moving on, we can take a look at Life on Mars. This is a tiny little Life on Mars rover, which is just a cute little vehicle here. This is just kind of a miniature version of the Life on Mars stuff that we were getting for the larger sets. Again, two different set numbers there, interestingly enough. And it also came with this interesting poster showcasing the Martians themselves. So you have simply titled Assistant, that's just our guy here, but then you have all the different names of the Martians, named after constellations, of course, which is super cool. I think this is a really cool thing to just be included in a poly bag to introduce you to the characters of the theme, and it was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one to actually get this included in the set itself. Moving onwards, I think I pretty much got every single Life on Mars poly bag except for like a couple that were just the figures. So this one was set number 7303. It's kind of a speeder for the Life on Mars Martians. I love the design of these Martians. I think they're so interesting with the printing. I'm trying to collect them all, so it's really cool to be able to just have another one to add to my collection here. Definitely great to add on to my Life on Mars lineup. Same goes for this one. 7300 is just another hover speeder for the Life on Mars aliens, so that's just a different variation of the characters here with a nice printed piece used for the dial there. And then we have a bit of a small walker for Life on Mars. So this is just a little tiny thing. I think I already owned this, but I was missing some of the pieces, so I'm glad to actually finally own the full-on thing with the instruction manual as well to really complete my collection. The last set I definitely did already own, but I realized I was missing a lot of parts to it and it was kind of broken up, so it was only 15 bucks, so I figured why not just get another one. 7311 is one of the official large-scale Life on Mars sets, so you kind of have this very unique design with a jumping motion, so you have a printed piece there which is exclusive to Life on Mars, and you kind of use it to jump along the terrain of Mars. It is a very, very unique type of build, certainly kind of a wacky out there sci-fi concept, but I really like it and what it has to offer to the table. Moving on from that, I think we can sum up all of Life on Mars. We can now take a look at some of the other LEGO space stuff. First off, we have this little V-Wing from Lego UFO. This is another one of the small sets. I think it was around 15 bucks, so again, a pretty good price for a vintage Lego UFO set. I actually already did own this, but I wanted to just add on more fleets and ships to my UFO army because I have a ton of the vintage UFO sets that are hovering above, hanging from my ceiling, so I figured, you know what, I'll just get another one because it is pretty cheap. I basically just bought every single set in that box fairly indiscriminately, which is why some of these I'm doubling up on stuff I own, but they were really cheap anyway, so I was really happy to get them. 6817 here is an Insectoids polybag, so I do have all the regular Insectoid sets, but not this polybag, so this was super cool to get with that nice crystal piece as well, which was really exclusive for just Insectoids. And speaking of Insectoids, there is a larger set here. This is actually one of the larger mainline sets, 6837, which I don't think I owned at the time. It's really interesting because it kind of has the mosquito look and feel with this kind of proboscis or type of antenna sticking out of the front, the big bug eyes, and the entire point is that you're supposed to take the magnetic stickers used on the crystals and be able to capture the crystals themselves. Although now, over time, the magnet has kind of worn out, so I just want to keep the crystal here for safekeeping because I do not want that to get lost. It is a really cool Lego piece. Of course, you can rotate the legs back and forth and it just kind of rolls along in a bug-like fashion, which is a really cool vintage Lego space set. Moving on from that, let's see, some other space stuff. Oh, there was another UFO thing. This is another just little UFO droid and speeder, 6800 or 6816. And you can see, just flying along right here, one of the UFO droids, which looks pretty cool. Just another nice, small $5 set. Now, moving onwards, it's not quite space, although this is kind of spaceport for Lego Town or City back in the day. 6463 is this little Mars rover here. I really like this sticker on the front. It kind of has this reflective and shiny material that looks really special. Obviously, you have this shiny dome piece as well, which can be moved up and down. And the astronaut himself can actually have his visor open and shut, which is really nice. I just like this charming little polybag. Moving onwards, let's see, we also have another little spaceport build, 6465 for the vintage Lego spaceship here. This is not a set that I even knew existed. I didn't even realize this was a thing until I found it, but the stickers were surprisingly secondhand but put on really well. Like, these stickers were put on with a lot of care, and again, you can tell that whoever previously owned these really paid a lot of attention to keeping them very intact with all the instructions, which is something I can really respect. So this is just a little bit of a spaceship, very swishable, very fun to play around with, and we can move on. Moving onwards from that, let's see, what else do we have? Well, I guess speaking of Lego Town, we've got this boat here, which is actually a boat that does float. It is a fireboat, which has a deployable kind of kayak or boat on the back here, which you can use to launch into the water. Super, super simple build. One thing that I just found really interesting about this is that this was purchased from something called a Lego outlet. I would like to know what that was all about. I have vague memories back in the day when I was a kid of going to Lego outlets, so I feel like that was kind of an older style of Lego store, but I think it's really interesting how, again, they've stapled part of the box onto here, so there you go. I think I even paid around retail, like if this retailed for $13.95 back when it first released, 1998, I think I paid around $15 for this, so actually pretty good. I mean, considering inflation, I got it even cheaper, so very, very happy with this. Moving on from that, let's see, what else do we have? We have a Lego Alpha Team set, which is a super simple one. It is just a squid with some spears attached to the bottom, as well as one of Ogle's underwater skull minions. Just a fun little villainous set to get, especially to complete the Alpha Team collection, because again, I did own the sets, but not the polybags, so it's good to finally have this. I still need to get the other two polybags, but I'm sure I'll come across them at some point. Moving on from that, speaking of underwater themes, we have some Aqua Zone and original Aqua Raiders stuff. This is a miniature submarine for Aqua Raiders, one of the most simple builds out of all the polybags, because it basically is just this gigantic cockpit piece with a trans-screen windscreen. But I love this minifigure. The chrome blue on the helmet is so interesting. That is one of my favorite Lego helmets to just be able to play around with. Got a lot of fond memories from playing around with these as a kid with the chrome blue helmet, so it's really cool just to get another one to add to my collection for the Aqua Raider sub-theme. Also, for this kind of grouping of sets, we have this little sea shark right here, 6100, with a very interesting minifigure that kind of combines the Aqua Sharks with the Aqua Raiders. He has a transparent blue helmet, but the transparent green hook. Just a really fun thing to get in general, and I really like how this was put together. Just simple build, but great minifigure. Moving onwards from that, we still have some more items. This is 6140 or 6109. I think it is not a polybag. It was actually a standard set for the Aqua Raiders. You can see the minifigure right there. Comes with the red recolor of the bush, as well as this submarine, which is a really fun one to play around with. A nice menacing print on it. That minifigure is super special for this particular sub-theme of Aqua Raiders. This was one of the coolest sub-themes for me when I was growing up to play around with, so definitely big fan of how this came together, and glad to be able to add this to my collection because I did not actually already own this set until now. Going into a completely different genre of set, we can take a look at some dinosaurs. I got a couple of them here. These were just the polybag dinosaurs, so 7003 is this little dinosaur right here. It has some of those specially molded elements like the spine and the tails, but is mostly just a simple little brick-built thing. We've also got a slightly larger one, but also a polybag-sized dinosaur here, 7001. Is this dinosaur with pretty much the same exact color scheme, so it's really interesting to see two different dinosaurs just kind of packaged together. Next up from there, we have a couple of sets for Knight's Kingdom. This was the first Knight's Kingdom, so Knight's Kingdom 1. This was kind of for Cedric the Bull's army here, so you've got a nice little chariot for the minifigure to push along. Again, really good condition parts. All the parts were there, so really happy with how this set came out. So I really like great minifigure and a fun artillery piece. And then moving on from there, we also have a slightly more substantial set. This is a catapult for Cedric the Bull's army. So you've got the dragon headpiece, but with the bull horns. You can kind of use it to fire little round cylinders out, so just a fun thing to play with. You can definitely use this for, I guess, more stuff to add on to castle scenes. You can see the minifigure right there with the chrome silver sword, looking very good. Also for Cedric the Bull's army. And the instructions right here for set number 6032. So there is that set, and we can move on. There is still more here. Again, yeah, I kind of went crazy on just getting these random little Lego polybags. This one's a pretty fun one because it's actually a pullback Lego racer set. So the way it works is you kind of pull these motors back and then it spins like so. So this is a little pullback motor, but the way that this set was essentially supposed to be laid out is that, of course, you have these specialized printed elements. You have the little bit of a minifigure race car driver body, which is a really funny piece if you haven't seen it already. They use these for the Lego, I think it was like the They use these for the special racer aliens as well, so just a fun little piece to get. But it also came with some extra pieces, including these pre-molded wheels, which are really interesting. These are plastic and not rubber. Like, this is one single plastic piece. Super interesting to see, because the entire point of this racer set was that you could either build it in this configuration, or you could choose to have it laid out as a dragster instead, so it came with alternate pieces if you wanted to completely change around the configuration of this race car, as well as even a little bit of a comic for that as well, which is a really fun thing to get for the Drone Racer sub-theme, which was a very interesting sub-theme of LEGO Racers that kind of tried to almost Bionicify the entire world, which I thought was pretty interesting. Setting that aside, though, we can take a look at some of the final items here for these smaller polybags. Let me see if we can just get this set out of the way here. This is a kind of funny set. It's for Jack Stone. If you don't know what Jack Stone is, it was kind of LEGO's answer to 4+ back in the day. The characters are not minifigures. They are these large, kind of goofy-looking, fully molded characters that cannot be disassembled. This is just a 4+ style of police car. I just figured I'd pick it up because it is an interesting set with unique pieces that you never pretty much see around LEGO stuff nowadays. And you can see the instruction manual right there, set number 4600 for Jack Stone. What was the motto of that? Something he can do it, or something like that. He's always on the scene. Jack Stone, there you can see all the different sets, and this was pretty much the smallest one in the entire wave. Moving onwards from that, we have a bit of a small Technic set. This is really interesting because this was actually a Shell exclusive, so you had to fill up your gas at a Shell gas station in order to get this vintage LEGO Technic set. Nowadays, LEGO would never partner with Shell because of the anti-environmental stuff, but it's good that they, I mean, it's interesting they did it in the past. This is from 1998, so always cool to see a relic of the past that LEGO will probably never partner with again. But you can see you have suspension with a rubber band here. That rubber band was in surprisingly good condition for its time, so really cool to see that. You've also got a bit of suspension up here. Super simple motorbike build, but just a fun little Technic build with suspension built in, which I thought was super cool. Moving onwards from that, we have a couple of other LEGO Technic sets. These are actually more modern sets. I do need to still wash these, but they were just Technic sets I didn't own yet, and I figured I might as well own at some point, including this Heat Orange or Flame Yellowish Orange Dune Buggy, as well as a pullback racer from back in the day. Moving on from that, I got one last polybag here, which was this little LEGO system set kind of for LEGO Extreme Team. 6585 is this hang glider. They actually use the same technique for a LEGO Island Extreme Stunts hang glider as well, so kind of interesting seeing LEGO just kind of put out similar stuff over time. But what's pretty cool is that this actually came with a cutout of the box. Like, someone kept the actual box this came in, cut this out, and just kept it with the instructions, which I kind of want to hold on to now. I mean, that's kind of neat, I think. Moving on from that, we just have one final small set. Not sure if this was a polybag or just a small box set, but this is 3419. It is a LEGO Sports Soccer training piece, so you can see right here. This is how the set works in general. You basically have your soccer player here, you have a net with, like, I guess targets to hit with the ball, so you're supposed to kind of spin that around. You have goalies blocking it, so kind of a sticker of pretend goalies blocking the ball, and you just rotate this guy around and have him kick the soccer ball to knock stuff over. So just a fun little training set, and I figured, you know what, why not just get another random weird vintage LEGO set. Finally, there's one sealed polybag that I picked up. That is this one right here. It is a classic LEGO McDonald's Happy Meal toy polybag. Unfortunately, not the Grimace one. Or maybe fortunately, because I am still alive. I don't know what would happen if I got the LEGO Grimace set. Comment down below if I should get the Grimace LEGO set. But you can see they kind of had the different mascots for McDonald's back in the day. I'm leaving this fully sealed for now because I think it's kind of just a cool thing to have sealed, but I might open it up at some point. Lastly, the final item that I actually got from Bricks and Minifigs is this really cool twisted time train from one of the most interesting LEGO original themes, which was Time Cruisers. You can see here that as you roll this along, so many different things happen. So in the front engine, you have flames that move up and down. Obviously, as you rotate this middle car, the wings flap and the skeleton, and as well as the Time Twister's dish rotate around. And then on the back, you have this kind of rotating ghost who also goes up and down as he rotates. So a really interesting and fun LEGO item to get, certainly one of the most unique items that they were doing back in the day, in the early 90s, late 80s. I love Time Cruisers. This was the final set I did not own from the Time Cruisers or Time Twisters line. Every single set had a crazy function like this, so I think I paid around like $70 or $60 for this, which was not too bad. Probably could have done better on Bricklink, but it was right there, so I figured why not. The minifigs are so interesting, it came with all the parts, so this was just so much fun to put together and finally complete my Time Cruisers collection. Driving that off here, we can take a look at two final things that I got from Jonathan, aka MiniSuperHeroesToday. This is the 2008 Homing Spider Droid, which for whatever reason I didn't already own. I checked Brickset, I didn't own it. I just checked at home, I didn't own it. So now I own all the Homing Spider Droids. Super simple build, I did not need the minifigs because somehow I already did own the minifigures, including Commander Fox, who came in the set. I just didn't own the set itself, so now I do. And then I got this random LEGO Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set. I mostly got it for the very interesting minifigure, or I guess that's what I would call it. It's some sort of a figure. This is the Mutant Lab, so you have kind of one of the Spider Bite, I think is his name, the Spider Bite Mutant here, which is a really interesting LEGO piece. I mean, it's super specialized and molded, but I think it's just really cool that LEGO was doing stuff like this back in the day. You, of course, have a specialized version of Raph here with a mask over his mouth and some silver printing, which looks really cool. It's kind of like a Special Forces version of him. And then you have just another minifigure here. I think he transforms into the spider. It's been a while since I've seen the 2012 the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, but I think that was the general gist of it. But the way this works is these open up, and you essentially have a transformation where you have spider bites in there, and then you can open up this here and actually put him inside the transformation chamber itself. So you have your guy in there, close that up, and so you close up the chamber, spins around, and outbursts spider bites. It's a fun feature, super simple, but it is what it is. And with that, we've summed up the first part of this haul, and there's still more, because I was able to get some incredibly rare stuff from MiniSuperHeroesToday, and we'll take a look at that right now. Okay, so these are really special. This Batman and this Green Lantern were only available in 2011 when LEGO relaunched the rebirth of the DC Comics superheroes theme at the New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Cons. So these are incredibly rare minifigures, and Mini Superheroes Today actually was able to sell them to me for a really great price. So once again, thank you so much for being willing to work with me on the price of these. I don't think I ever would have owned these if I had not had that conversation with you, and so thank you so much. This is really awesome. But essentially the story behind these is that nowadays, if you want to get them off of Bricklink, they are probably over $2,000 each. It is pretty crazy, because these were some of the very first Comic-Con exclusive minifigures that LEGO ever made, making them incredibly rare, incredibly special. First off, you have Batman here, which honestly isn't that different from other Batmans we've gotten, but you can tell that the torso is markedly different. It is the Dark Knight Batman, so it's obviously from the Nolan films, and this also has an expression that's very reminiscent of the classic 2008 Batman, but that's what this one looks like. I'm trying to be really careful with these figures because obviously these are super special. Green Lantern here is based off of the infamous Ryan Reynolds movie. This is the only movie version of Green Lantern we have ever gotten, and he does have two different expressions, which is pretty nice. You have an angry one on the back, and then more of a happy one on the front, and this is so cool because I don't think we're ever going to get a Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern minifigure ever again, so it's really special to get this. Especially, I was really looking forward to getting this. The Batman one, honestly, like, I don't think that if you looked at this and weren't familiar with LEGO history, you might think this is just like another random LEGO Batman, but no, this is like one of the rarest, if not the rarest, LEGO Batman figure ever made. And it is so special, so thank you so much to Mini Superheroes Today for selling me these. These have made a fine addition to my collection, and I cannot wait to display them. But besides those special minifigures, at the end of my journey with Mini Superheroes Today, I was actually able to purchase a number of random LEGO sets he kind of just had lying around. You see, as he was giving me a tour of the house, he showcased a full-on garage that was stocked full of LEGO sets that were partially rebuilt, and a ton of just different things he was planning on selling, and I thought that was super cool, and I just kind of asked him, hey, if you're gonna sell these, you want to sell anything to me? And he was open to selling me pretty much anything. Now, mostly what he had were superhero sets. I already own almost all the superhero sets, so I didn't really have anything to get there, but he did actually have a number of sets which I did not own yet, which was super exciting, which I have right here. So obviously the biggest one is the Mercedes-Benz Unimog. This is a pneumatic truck from LEGO Technic. It is fully motorized. Now the batteries are not in it right now, but I'll probably take it apart to wash it and then be able to rebuild it myself, because I always want to get the new LEGO building experience out of any set. I don't ever just want to buy a set and keep it fully assembled. So what he was able to do was ship it to me fully assembled, so thankfully I can film this part of the video before actually having to take it apart, rewash it, and build it myself to add to my collection. This was really important because I actually really want to own at some point every single one of the flagship Technic sets. Those are usually the largest LEGO Technic sets that they release in a single year, and I'm trying to collect a ton of Technic stuff, but I think it's impossible to collect like every Technic set. So I've made a compromise and said, okay, well, if I'm not going to ever own every single one, I would like to own the best ones. And so, what I'm trying to do is go on this mission to own all of them. I actually own most of them now. I actually was able to pick up most of them. There's still a few that have eluded me, and this was one of them. So thankfully, he was able to sell it to me for a really good price, or kind of almost just, if you look at the price of the minifigures, it basically was no price at all. So thank you so much, Mini Superheroes Today, aka Jonathan, for selling me this. This is super cool because it is fully pneumatic controlled. This is all motorized, so you have like a grabber claw that can go up and down. I cannot wait to actually try this out myself and to rebuild it myself, because again, this is just something that I'm probably going to have to rebuild myself and to wash out. I just wash every used LEGO set I buy. I always just wash it. So it was sitting in his garage, so he didn't really have any particular use for it, so I was really happy to take it off his hands and give it a new home. So this is going to go up on my wall of Technic vehicles as soon as I am finished building and washing it. Thank you again for Jonathan for selling me this. Setting this aside though, there are a couple of even rarer items that I got a chance to pick up, and those are these bad boys right here. So anyone who's watched the channel for some time knows that I am a sucker for vintage LEGO. Anything vintage I am a huge fan of, and they actually had really amazing quality boxes to go with them. So the first set here is a set that I've been wanting to get for ages. Like, I've literally been wanting this set for years. However, the set is kind of ridiculously expensive on Bricklink. I mean, let's look at the price right now on Bricklink, because I remember that at one point I checked, and it was maybe around $70 that I found it in a used toy store. And I just didn't feel like this was worth $70. Like, it is not a really big set, and I always kept on telling myself, oh, well, I mean, I can probably build it out of my own pieces and whatnot. Never got around to doing that, of course, but yeah, if you go to Bricklink right now, used from Europe, it's around $62 to $65. The cheapest one in the US is $70. Then you go up to $80 and even more, which I feel is really high for a set that's like, I like it, it's a classic space set, and I'm trying to own them all, but maybe this isn't really worth that. However, Mini Superheroes Today was able to sell it to me for a really good price. To be honest, I don't even remember what I asked to pay for this. We were able to come up with a good deal. I just remember it was a really good deal. It's been a few weeks now, so I don't really remember, but it was a great price, and so thank you again for selling me this. And look at this amazing condition box. It literally says, use this box for storage. You can see some of the different modules of the set there on the side of the box. And on the back of this inner box, it's just a nice starry design, but putting the cover back into place, this is such a high quality box. I really like how this is done. You can actually see different types of alternate models that you can do with the set itself, which is really cool how back in the day LEGO used to do these all the time, where you could see different models that you could build with the parts in one set. That also had the instructions in really nice quality. Again, this was like in pretty much pristine condition for the instructions. I didn't really even want to open them up because I just didn't want to mess with the very nice quality of the instructions, so I just kind of set this aside and eyeballed it based on the set, but I think I built it correctly based on the image. They're usually not super hard to put together. The next one here was the Siege Tower, I believe it was called, or something along those lines. That was the mobile recovery vehicle, by the way. This one is a classic LEGO castle set, which is another one that was on my list for a long time, but I never actually got because I felt like it was too expensive. Yeah, just the Siege Tower. If you look on Bricklink, this is around the same price. It's around $60 used, and this came with the box as well, so this is a really, really nice get. So what you have here is you have a siege tower and a bit of a castle wall that actually does connect to some of the castles LEGO was putting out at the time. This did have a flip open box, which is so cool to see because you can see different things that you can build out of it, like a drawbridge to enter a castle. You of course have your different minifigures. You can even build a catapult there, which is really nice. All the trebuchets are far superior, of course. Now here you can see the siege tower box design, as well as alternate models where it says, I really like this circle. Legoland offers endless building possibilities. These are but a few examples of the many different building possibilities that can be created with this Legoland set. So they were really emphasizing the system of play here to really be able to create your own models. That actually looks really cool. Like, I actually really like the look of that. Maybe even more than the actual set. Like, that's actually really cool. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff that can be done here. Now this was missing the ladder, the brown ladder, but that's not a big deal. Pretty much everything I did want to get in the set was in it. Of course, you have the instruction manual as well. But now we can take a quick look at the builds themselves. So the first one is, again, the Space Mobile Recovery Vehicle. This is a classic space set, one of the ones, again, I've been wanting to get for a while, and this actually is a modular vehicle, much like many of the other classic space sets of its time. So what you can do is you can separate this out and it acts as its own spaceship. One of the front pieces was missing, but that's not a big deal. I can just grab a cup from my own collection. But this is its own spaceship, so that's really nice. And then you can separate out the back here, so this becomes a bit of a mobile lab. But what you can do, I wonder, can you actually, okay. I was hopeful that you could maybe no, yeah, there's no way to combine these. That's a little bit disappointing. I think it would have been cool to just make this a spaceship, but alas, they did not set it up that way. These are just supposed to be components that separate out, so you have a mobile lab, and then you just have this base with seats for the astronauts as well to kind of roll around on. It's a really simple concept for a set, but I also really like the classic charm of it. This is, to me, a quintessential standard classic space set. It's modular, it turns into a spaceship, it's part rover, it's just so much fun. I'm really happy to add this finally to my collection. Moving on from that, we have the Siege Tower here, and this is another amazing vintage LEGO set. Again, I am a big fan of all things vintage LEGO. I'm just a crazy collector when it comes to that, so really happy to be able to add this to my collection. Now, one of the minifigures was missing his legs, but to be honest, those are probably the least rare part of all the minifigures in these sets. Like, obviously the legs don't really matter, so that wasn't a big deal, but here the entire point of this set is that you have a siege tower and a castle to lay siege to. So let's set aside our guy here, and you can kind of pull up. First of all, this whole thing is connected by strings, so you can actually close this up by spinning the wheel. Doesn't like to stay closed though. Like, there's no easy way to make it stay closed or keep the string taut until you keep it all the way up. Like, this is fine, and then you can roll it downwards, but I would like to keep the string taut. Like, I think, let's see, right here is pretty good, but you can't keep it taut here. Like, I think it looks the best with the string like this. Can't really do that, like the wheel just automatically spins down to give it some slack, but it's not that big of a deal. But essentially, you just kind of pull up, you can lower this down, and then your minifigures can cross into the castle itself. So this is a really fun play feature. I like that you can just treat it like imaginative play. You have a knight on a horse as well. You have one of those older style of gray castle classic shields there. That's a really rare piece to get that rounded shield element. The wall is nothing special. It's just kind of a component to a castle, but the cool thing is, again, you can combine this to other castles, and if you own multiple copies of the set, you can actually just create a long line of them, which is kind of reminiscent of the 2012 Uruk-hai defense from Lord of the Rings. They basically had a very similar mechanic of a wall, some Uruk-hai to scale the wall, and then you could just continue to make the wall add on more and more and more. Overall, these were really great vintage sets. I'm really happy that I was able to get these from Jonathan, aka MiniSuperHeroesToday. Big shout out to him and his channel, so thank you so much to all the tour and showing me around Nashville, and of course selling me these amazing rare and vintage sets. I don't normally keep Lego boxes, but I know for certain I'll definitely be keeping these. Thank you so much, and this was such a great experience. Alright, and with that, we have summed up our LEGO shopping experience in Nashville, Tennessee, as well as a look at Jonathan Pushkar's LEGO collection, which is so cool to be able to see somebody else's LEGO layout. This was kind of my first time touring another LEGO fan's collection, and it was so interesting seeing how he had so many different things laid out. The box collection was really cool because he actually had the boxes signed by the actors and the movie directors, which is such a good idea. If I ever go to a Comic-Con in the future, I absolutely will now have to set aside some boxes to have people sign, because that just looked really cool. And overall, it was a great experience, and thank you again so much to MiniSuperHeroesToday for selling me the amazing Comic-Con Batman minifigure. That is super rare. This one right here, one of the rarest minifigures that's in my collection now, as well as the infamous Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern figure, also one of the rarest LEGO minifigures that currently exists in my collection. So thank you so much for selling me that. This was a really fun experience, and definitely you are welcome anytime you're in Seattle, Washington, to come check out my collection. And so I hope that about sums up this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming away very soon. And check out MiniSuperHeroesToday, linked in the description below. Bye for now.